Hello students, how are you? Ready with pen and the paper? Okay, keep pen and paper ready. Whatever I discuss, that you try to write on your paper, and that will be the best notes of yours. Give more importance for your notes. Okay? Okay students. Uh, we have seen the Henry's law, which deals with the solubility of gas in the liquid. Now in this video what we do is let's study the vapor pressure of liquid solutions obtained by dissolving one liquid in another liquid, that is liquid solution, and a solid in liquid, that is solid in liquid. Clear? Okay, keep pen and paper ready. We have seen vapor pressure of gas in liquid, and we have used Henry's law to find the vapor pressure. Henry's law related the vapor pressure and the solubility in terms of mole fraction, etc., etc. All those things we have seen, and we have written test also. Now what we do is, we deal in this class with vapor pressure of liquid in liquid and solid in liquid. It means that we are dealing with liquid solutions. See students, in this class we deal with the vapor pressure of liquid in liquid and solid in liquid. See, it means that we are dealing with liquid solutions. See, if I mean liquid solution, it simply means that solvent is liquid. It is clear students? Here this is solute, this is also solute. But look at this, it is solvent. It means that solvent is liquid, it means we will get liquid solutions. So whenever we mean liquid solution, it means that we are dealing with liquid as solvent. If I say solid solution, it means that solvent is solid, like that. Okay. Here one term will come, volatile. We should know the meaning of this volatile. Volatile means easily vaporizable. See students, easily vaporizable liquids are called as volatile, or easily vaporizable solids are also called as volatile. So when this volatile refers to both liquid as well as solid, no matter which is the physical state of the matter, but the thing is, it should be easily vaporizable. Easily vaporizable means that its boiling point is very less or very low. For example, petrol, water, benzene, acetone, etc. If you take them into, say, separately in a pan, then just leave it for a while in the open atmosphere, what we notice? This will be vaporized by the ambience itself without heating it. So those substances whose boiling point is less, they are called as volatile. See students, more volatile means less boiling point, means more easily vaporizable, means more vapor pressure. See students, it means that the liquid which is more volatile will have less boiling point, and the liquid which has got less boiling point, it is more easily vaporizable, and the liquid which is more easily vaporizable will have more vapor pressure. Is that clear students? This term should be very much clearly understood. Is it clear? Okay. Now what we do is, we try to understand the meaning of vapor pressure. Vapor pressure. See students, let us take a container whose top is closed, which is having liquid. Say it is called as liquid 1. Now suppose it is a water, simply call it as water. It means that even at room temperature, water being volatile, we notice evaporation of water take place. Evaporation of water take place. Then it will reach to the top. Then what happens? Once the ambience is saturated, this ambience is saturated with vapors. If this ambience, this area, the area above the liquid, if it is saturated with water vapor, then at that time what we notice is condensation takes place. See students, condensation, when it will occur? Upon reaching the saturation stage. So in a container which is half filled, half is empty, water starts vaporizing at the room temperature itself, and that half area will be fully occupied by vapors. That is called as saturation stage. Then after this reaching the saturation stage, instead of evaporation of water, condensation of water takes place. It means that at that particular stage, vaporization and condensation both occur simultaneously, and a stage of equilibrium is attained. Is it clear, students? Once this equilibrium is attained, at that situation, the pressure of this vapor is called as vapor pressure. Okay, then how will you define vapor pressure? The vapor pressure of the liquid is the pressure due to vapors of it when a saturation stage is reached above the liquid. Is that clear, students? Suppose there is let us add another liquid 2, say liquid 2. So it means that here there is another liquid. Both are volatile. Both are volatile. It means that along with water, we notice the vapors of other liquids also. Vapors of other liquid. Then mixture of these two will attain a saturation stage, and once saturation stage is reached, condensation occurs. Then it means that here vapors of liquid 1 and vapors of liquid 2 both put together, they are exerting pressure. Clear? And this pressure at the saturation stage is called as vapor pressure. This vapor pressure is total vapor pressure, and this total vapor pressure is given by vapor pressure due to liquid 1 plus vapor pressure due to liquid 2. Is it clear? This is vapor pressure of liquid 1, that is first component, and this is the vapor pressure of liquid 2, that is the second component. That means total vapor pressure is the sum of the vapor pressure of individual components. These individual components are known as partial pressures. Now, this person has given a quantitative relationship between the mole fraction of the component in the solution and its vapor pressure. Say vapor pressure of the component is directly proportional to mole fraction of it in the solution. See students, he gave one quantitative relationship between vapor pressure of the component in the mixture and its mole fraction. It says that vapor pressure of the component in the mixture above the liquid is directly proportional to mole fraction of the component in the solution. Is it clear, students? Suppose there is this can be written as P is equal to, that is vapor pressure of one component, or we can call it as partial pressure, is equal to mole fraction of the component into vapor pressure of that particular liquid if it is present in its pure form. This is the relation given by this person, therefore it's called as Raoult's law. Raoult's law states that partial pressure of the component in the mixture of volatile liquids is equal to the product of mole fraction of it and its vapor pressure in the pure form. Clear, students? Raoult's law we are now applying for mixture of two volatile liquids. See here, two volatile liquid means if you take liquid 1 and liquid 2 in this container, their vapors are found commonly in above this liquid layer. Here vapors of liquid 1 and vapors of liquid 2 both will be there. Both will be exerting the pressure. Therefore, here the total pressure will be pressure of 1 plus pressure of 2. This pressure of component 1 is called as partial pressure, and this partial pressure is equal to mole fraction, and partial pressure is equal to mole fraction into its vapor pressure in the pure form. This was the law given by him. Now let us apply the Raoult's law for this. Here we have two components here. That means total vapor pressure is equal to pressure of one component plus pressure of another component. This is according to Dalton's law of partial pressures. Remember, students, Dalton's law? At a given temperature, the total pressure of the mixture of gases is equal to sum of the partial pressure of the individual gases. That is the Dalton's law. Now, this can be written as here mole fraction of component 1 into its vapor pressure in its pure form plus mole fraction of component 2 into its vapor pressure in its pure form. Is it clear, students? Therefore, total vapor pressure is this. Okay. But we know that mole fraction of 1 plus mole fraction of second component is always 1. Is that clear, students? Sum of the mole fraction is always equal to 1. This we can write also as mixture of mole fraction of A plus mole fraction of B. Instead of A and B, we have taken 1 and 2. Clear? Okay. Therefore, we can write it as, from this what we can write is x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. So we can place this in this equation. Therefore, total pressure is equal to x1 means 1 minus x2 into P01 plus x2 is x2 into P02. Let us simplify this. Here, this can be written as, see students here, this is the equation of, it appears that it is the equation of straight line. Say y is equal to, this is mx plus, no, it cannot be the equation of straight line. Okay, let's simplify this. This is P01 minus P0 x2 plus P0, this is P01, this is P02 x2. This can be further written as, see students, P01 plus x2 is common, x2 plus is taken here, that means it should be P02 minus P01. This is total pressure. See students, this is the equation which can be regarded as equation of a straight line. See students, it is of the form of y is equal to, this is say mx plus c, isn't it? It is the equation of straight line. It means that if you plot a graph of y, that is say pressure, total pressure, and mole fraction. Then you will get a straight line passing through the origin whose slope is what is this? P2 naught minus P1 naught. This is equal to slope. It appears like that. See students, just now we have seen the total pressure is equal to this. That is x1 into P01 and x2 into P02, sum of these two. And we know that this further can be simplified as, see here, by applying this concept, we can write this equation as like this. Upon further simplification, what we get is, this is P01 minus x2 P01 plus x2 P02. See students, here x2 is common. Therefore, it can be written as P01 plus, we take this x2 in this side and common, then it will be P02 minus P01. This is total pressure. Or this equation can also be written as, instead of this, we can take it as, see here, here we have taken x1 as 1 minus x2, and now we can take it as x2 as 1 minus x1. This can also be taken from this. Therefore, now equation 1 will become as pressure total is equal to, so this will remain as it is, x1 into P01 will remain as it is, plus in place of x2, what we do is we put 1 minus x1, 1 minus x1 into P02. This can be written as x1 P01 plus P02 minus x1 P02. Here in this case, as we have taken x2 common here, we take x1 common here. That means P02 plus x1, then P01 minus P02. See students, this is the total pressure. See here, the difference between these two is, see students, total pressure is the function of mole fraction of the second component. Here, total pressure is the function of mole fraction of the first component. It means that total pressure of the in the mixture of the two volatile liquids in the vapor phase can be expressed as a function of any one component. This is the important conclusion that we get out of this Raoult's law. Total pressure is the function of only one of the component, either x2 or x1, provided both should be volatile liquids. Then another first conclusion is total vapor pressure can be written as a function of one component only. First conclusion is this. And the second conclusion is, see students, total pressure either will increase or decrease depending upon the individual vapor pressure in their pure form versus, see students, let me tell you once again, the total pressure either it will increase or decrease, the total pressure either it will increase or decrease depending upon the values of pure components, pressure of the pure components, depending upon the mole fraction of another component here. If you take x2 in this equation, this either it will increase or decrease depending upon the quantity of mole fraction of first component, and if it is x1 here, then total pressure will be either increasing or decreasing depending upon the P0 and P2 value and mole fraction of the another component here. That means total pressure total, either it will increase or decrease depending upon the component 1 or component 2, mole fraction of component 1 or component 2. If is here, you can take the component 1 if x2 is there in the equation, and here you can take this component if x1 is there in the equation here. Is it clear, students? The third conclusion that what we can do is, what you can draw is, see here, total vapor pressure varies linearly. Linearly stands for directly proportional. Total vapor pressure varies linearly with mole fraction of either x2 or x1. Total vapor pressure directly proportional to mole fraction of either x1 or x2. These are the three important conclusions that we can draw out of this. Okay, students. Now let us look at the graphical representation of mole fraction of the components in the mixture and their partial pressures. Okay. See, students. Let us draw first individual graphs. Individual. See, we notice that if you plot a graph of mole fraction versus pressure, say mole fraction of A versus its pressure, that means it's only A, no? Therefore, mole fraction of only A will be there here. That means if mole fraction increases, its vapor pressure is also increasing. See, students, this corresponds to only A, isn't it? And similarly, we can notice that if component B only is present, then its vapor pressure is only due to B. That means it is pure vapor pressure of pure component. That means as it increases, its vapor pressure is also increasing. Is that clear? Now, what we do is we mix these two. We mix these two. Then say A is 100% here and B is 0. In this direction, A decreases and mole fraction of A or mole fraction of A will be taken as 0, and here mole fraction of B will be taken as 100%. Clear, students? Here mole fraction of A is 100, mole fraction of B is 0, and in this case mole fraction of A is 0 and mole fraction of B is 100%. Clear, students? It means that we are going to draw the graph of these two put together. Clear? Let us see now. And before that, let us assume that P naught of A is more than P naught of B. See, students, we are assuming it. Let the vapor pressure of A is more than that of B. See, students, we know that vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point. It means that its boiling point is low. Its boiling point is high. Is it clear? Okay, let us draw the graph of these two put together. See, students, this is the vapor pressure axis of A. This is the mole fraction component. This is the vapor pressure axis of B. Here, this is A. This is B. A is 100%. This B is 100% here. Okay. This is according to this condition. This will be the P naught A. Little less here. This will be the P naught B because we have assumed this. Okay. Here mole fraction of A is 100%, mole fraction of B is 0%. From left to right, mole fraction of A becomes 0, decreases. That means mole fraction of A here it will become 0%, and that of B it will be increasing from here to here. That means it will be here 100%. Clear, students? Okay. Now what we notice is, see here, this is the vapor pressure of only A. That is when 100% A is present. From left to right, what is happening? Mole fraction of A decreases. When mole fraction of A decreases, vapor pressure of A will also decreases. Here, if mole fraction of A is this much, then its vapor pressure is this much. This much. And if mole fraction decreases, that means it is here. What is happening? Decreasing, isn't it? Like that, from this end to this end, mole fraction of A is decreasing and it is becoming 0 here. It means that its vapor pressure is also decreasing here. It is this much. It is like this. But this corresponds to the vapor pressure of only A. Clear? Now, from left to right, what is happening to B? Mole fraction of B is 0. That means its vapor pressure is here, 0 only. And from left to right, what is happening? mole fraction of B is increasing. Clear, students? That means from left to right, its vapor pressure is also increasing. It is like this. Clear? This is the maximum vapor pressure of A in the mixture. This is the maximum vapor pressure of B in the mixture. And this corresponds to B. Clear? Now, this is pure A, this is pure B. Then this will give us this will give us the total vapor pressure due to A and due to B. Clear, students? Okay. This stage corresponds to, say, suppose this is A is here 60% and B is here 40%. That means this composition at this composition of A and B, 60% of A and 40% of B mixed together, that mixture is having, see here, what is this? What is this? What is this point? At this composition, pressure of A is equal to pressure of B. Isn't it, students? Vapor pressure of A and vapor pressure of B. At this particular composition, vapor pressure of A and B is same. That means at A is to B is to 60 is to 40 ratio, or 6 is to 4 ratio, or 3 is to 2 ratio. In this ratio, if you take, both the components will have same vapor pressure. Same vapor pressure means same boiling point. Is that clear, students? That means mixture of two liquids, if they have same boiling point, that mixture is called as, what is this? Azeotrope. What is this? Azeotrope. Azeotrope stands for mixture of two or more components of a liquid which have got same vapor pressure at a given temperature, or which have got same boiling point. Is it clear? See, students, by using Raoult's law, we can find the composition of vapor phase. See, students, let Y1 is the mole fraction of component 1 and Y2 be the mole fraction of component 2, and P total is the total vapor pressure. Total vapor pressure. Then what we can write is vapor pressure of component 1 is equal to mole fraction of component 1 into total pressure. That is P total. We can write it as P total. Similarly, vapor pressure of second component is equal to mole fraction of the second component into total pressure. This will give us the composition of components in the vapor phase. Okay. Here, one thing what we need to remember is, it is the mole fraction of the component present in the vapor phase. Whereas X1 we have taken to mention that mole fraction of the component present in the solution. Clear? This is the mole fraction of the. We'll find the relationship between Henry's law and Raoult's law. See, students, what Raoult's law says: vapor pressure of the component A in the mixture of volatile liquids is equal to mole fraction of the component A into its vapor pressure in pure form, when it is present in pure form. Whereas the Henry's law, what it says is, vapor pressure of the component A, gas, above the liquid is equal to mole fraction of the component into Henry's law constant. Is that clear, students? Now, if you compare these two, what we notice is these two are, see here, these two are common. That means from these two, what we can say is P naught A and KH are the common factors. Therefore, what can be concluded from this is Raoult's law is a special case of Henry's law, or we can also say that Henry's law is a special case of Raoult's law. Clear? Therefore, we can write this Raoult's law as a special case of Henry's law, or Henry's law as a special case of Raoult's law. They may ask you, why do we consider Raoult's law as a special case of Henry's law, or Henry's law is a special case of Raoult's law? Because of this, P naught A and KH are common factors, both are equal, both are common factors of these two laws. Therefore, one is the special case of the another one. Okay. After listening to this video or seeing this video, try to create the questions. See, you can understand this discussion only if you create the questions. So try to create the question. Don't go for answering the question. Answering the question is easy way. But if you want to understand the concept clearly, try to create the question out of the discussion part. Just pause the video after listening to some extent. Pause the video. Then if you feel that you can create the question there, just pause the video and create the question. Clear, students? And whatever examination that I am going to conduct you after day after tomorrow, every question's answer will be found in this video only. Okay? So watch this video carefully and create the question. Clear?